Your eyes and ears don't lie. I get you again for another one of those. And I was looking at the news clip of Trump's social, or his truth social, but we call it lying social. Because I despise that dude. I almost hate to ever use his name, but sometimes it's unavoidable. But, you know, we're talking about Lying Social by Donald Trump, Adolf Trump, when he talking about and admitting the impact of you going out and just recklessly rounding up every immigrant, anybody brown you can find that fits the script, and how it's crippling what little manufacturing or industrial businesses you do got here, and just kneecap the agricultural side of things, where by some estimates, America gonna starve without these people. He also admitted the contribution they are making to the country, because you not just rounding up criminals, you going after everybody that fits the look. You go into businesses and things like that, but you ain't going to all these businesses like you are in California and other states, especially these blue ones that you going in, you targeting us. But you ain't going to red states like that. Yeah, it's happening in red states, but on a much smaller scale. When some of the red states employ some of the largest groups of them. Of course, California is going to have a lot. Look at our population and size and location to the border. But you ain't talking about all these farmlands in the Midwest, in the South, in the Northeast, where agriculture is big, huge migrant populations there too. So you ain't doing that, but you're gonna admit on one of your drunken posts or whatever goes on, because I hope he drunk. I hope he drunk or he do drugs or something, because if this is you and your clear thoughts when you go on these nighttime tangents and all this, that's even worse. If you a sober person of a clean mind and your mind is just tore up, which could be. Your whole life you've been a criminal, you've never been accountable for anything ever in your life. So it's not like you could teach somebody right from wrong at this age. If you've been doing wrong your whole life and got away with it because you were raised by the devils, because Papa Trump was a Nazi, and they stopped using the Nazi terminology when we went to war with Germany. But go back on the history of his father and what they stood for and wanted. How he did business in New York when it came to renting out his residential properties. And in general, just what type of people they were. Because I constantly hear, oh, so now that he's in politics, all of a sudden he's racist? No, Trump has always been a racist. But people have been tolerant. They've thought because you could pick out bits and pieces where it was beneficial in his life to tolerate black people, meaning associate with them or stuff. That don't make you not racist because you tolerate people of color in your life if it benefits you. That's the misconception. Is racism has a lot of degrees to it. And some people have put their personal feelings aside momentarily to make some money. And that's what he does. So to sit here and talk about the immigration issues going on with farmers, where they're talking about they cannot get anyone locally to do these jobs. Nobody. Because no ethnicities want to do that backbreaking work for the pay you're offering. And I've been telling people this for a long time, is that the one thing you can't call these migrant workers is lazy. They do hard backbreaking work that we don't want to do. And the amount of money that you would need to pay a U.S. citizen to do that work, when California is paying $20 for Subway, minimum wage at fast foods is $20, and y'all offering less than that to work in the fields for 8, 10, 12 hours in this heat in the Central Valley in the north, you offering less than what somebody can make, making you a foot long, making you a double-double at In-N-Out, making you some tea at Panera, complaining because you've been exploiting this labor for so long, paying crumbs with no benefits. And they've been doing it, feeding America, housing America, because they building the houses. disregarding the contributions to lie and leverage it for the election. Just outrageous behavior. And people who live in their little box in a lot of these places, you only watch one news source, which is a goddamn lie. And it's propaganda. A lot of these channels and these outlets should not even be able to call themselves news outlets. You shouldn't even be able to call yourself journalists based on what you're doing. Y'all actors. The days of you just honestly and accurately reporting on the information and allowing the viewers to decide, that's gone. You know exactly where these outlets lean politically the minute you start reading the content. And it didn't used to be like that. Or not on the levels that it is right now. And the respectable ones, they're trying to ruin them. And you scaring these executives because they're putting money over pride, ethics. So he's able to just extort money out of these large broadcasting places and news outlets. Where you don't even want to go to court and fight your case when a lot of legal scholars say you will win. You just so afraid of it that you just gonna pay. Let them extort you. Or why don't we just pay him so we can get our merger to go through? I ain't gonna name no names, but if y'all informed, you know. There's two big companies right now that want to merge. But he's threatening lawsuits, so they want to just pay him. But he said no to the $16 million you offer. Because he wants more. Because he's greedy. He's scamming so many different people and stealing from so many areas. 16 million, nothing. He can pump and dump his meme coin for that. Go make a few tweets, you morons will go buy it. And he can make that 16 million and nothing. So he really wants to exert leveraging the position of the President of the United States on anyone who he opposes. And it's not right. And why so many people right now are okay with his behavior is because it's not targeted at you. And the only time you will care is when it affects you. Because, I'm sorry, if Trump was not a white man and he behaved like this, you same MAGA people would be up in arms. You'd all of a sudden remember what law and order is, what the Constitution is, the Bill of Rights, the amendments, maybe even the Bible, because y'all ain't, this whole claiming this Christian stuff ain't nothing about y'all behavior Christian. And I'm not putting one race above any other, or excuse me, not race, I want to say religion, because, well, race too. We all humanity. But as far as religion, all religions I got respect for. I don't put one above the other because I feel like whatever motivates you to do right, live right, treat yourself and others right, I'm all for it. It don't matter what religion you're in. I support anything that motivates you to be positive and be a positive contribution to society. I don't rank them. It's not my job. Who am I to talk to anybody about their connection to faith? But I can tell you what some behaviors do not exhibit. And MAGA don't exhibit that. But they do the craziest stuff in the world and then end it with Christian beliefs or something. If you don't knock it off. Because some of the worst people in our society go to church on Sunday or whatever your day of worship is. You show up in the church. But when you outside them walls, you living the most horrible lives out there and think it's okay just because you want to go to church. That's supposed to absolve everything you do. Why don't you live right? It's like I tell my daughter. I want you to do right, but what's important too is that you do the right thing even when nobody is watching, because that's what matters. I don't want you to do stuff because you don't want to get in trouble or you don't want me to get mad or your mother to get mad. I want you to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Because at the end of the day, whatever your religious denomination is, when you meet your maker, that's only going to be between you and him for whatever you believe. When you look in the mirror, you got to like what you see. And that's as deep as I'm gonna get into that.